what's going on, everybody? UltimatDjz here from the Talking Trek podcast, here with a Teaching Trek video here on the YouTubes for you. Happy ArcFall day. Good morning to all. Good afternoon. Good evening, maybe, in some parts of the world. It is an exciting day. It's April of 2022, and ArcFall is upon us, and with it, a new property comes, as you can see. Take a look. It is Lower Decks. We're very, very excited about this. We got a lot of stuff to talk to you about here today. Like, what is coming with this arc? What are we going to see? Well, we got a lot of stuff. So let's first get into the officers. I want to actually, I've got the video for you because the officers this month are so amazing as far as what they have done with like their animations and so forth. So I'm really pumped about it, and I would like to be able to show you some of this stuff here today as we go through, instead of just popping in some graphics and some information from STFC.space, which we are going to bring you. But first, I'm going to start with the officers, as we always do. And I'm going to draw you to our roadmap update. Okay, let's go ahead and get on into it. Let me switch you over here. This was our roadmap update that we got here just, I guess, a week or two ago now. Below deck officers, we talked about how this was kind of interesting. We saw this UI, obviously not necessarily indicative of what is actually happening here, but indeed getting lower deck abilities. Well, we're going to talk about those here this evening. As a matter of fact, first, I will bring you your first uncommon that we have had in so many months. We haven't had very many uncommons. We've got an uncommon for you here. Let's go ahead and bring it up if we can. Boom, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Badgie. Here's Badgie, and the animation is great. This is actually how it's going to appear in your game. It's phenomenal. Watch what happens when you tear him up. It's fantastic. This is so true to the game and or true to the TV show. I'm really actually very excited about how Scopely got with their graphic artists and actually built this stuff in. So here we go. Ranks up, gets a little bit excited, gets a little bit mad. Yeah, there he goes. That is Badgie. What is he going to do? Well, he is an uncommon officer. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, he's going to be sourced very liberally in the game. There's lots and lots and lots of opportunities for you to be able to pick him up. Let's hop in to STFC.space. Here we are, and we're going to hop into our officer section, and let's look up Badgie. There he is. And guys, I will absolutely encourage you to come in and read these descriptions. I have gotten a quick peek at some of the descriptions this month and even some of the mission narratives. They are written so well. I'm super excited about the narrative this month. And even these descriptions, very much written like that of the show from Lower Decks. If you haven't watched that, spoilers are to come. You need to go back and watch the first couple of seasons of Lower Decks on Paramount Plus if you're able to get caught up on that. But within this whole paragraph, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, it does just talk about Badgie being a deranged, bloodthirsty maniac who should be avoided. Although if he finds himself on your ship, he will teach you a lesson that you'll never forget. This is because he has, well, no captain's maneuver, absolutely. And that is one of the things that we saw in the roadmap about Lower Decks officers and the fact that we're coming into the narrative of the Lower Decks IP. These officers were not meant for the captain's chair. Now, they do have an officer ability, meaning that they will provide you some benefit on the bridge, all right, in which case Badgie decreasing armor, shield deflection, and dodge of non-Armada opponents, all right? Non-Armada opponents means PvE hostiles or PvP hostiles. Now, granted, it's not a great deal, 5% and tiering up to only 20%, but I kind of wonder if this is not something of a scaled-down Moreau, could potentially, maybe, possibly be somewhat of an officer that you could use, maybe next to Beverly with Picard, maybe, don't know, some testing going to be needed. If you were to use Badgie on the bridge. But moreover, this is the big one, the new below deck ability that is coming out for the officers being released this month. And now you see a third ability. Ha ha ha, you're going to die! Increasing armor penetration, shield penetration, and accuracy by 12.5%. And these abilities are only activated when assigned to a below deck slot on a ship. Now listen, this is not contrary to popular belief or contrary to early speculation with the roadmap, not going to require any extra currency to activate, not going to have any kind of a cooldown or limit on what you can use. Just if he's on the lower deck, he's going to function, and he will tier up exactly the same as his officer ability. So you see at 12.5% at tier 1, all the way up to 60% at tier 5, and you'll see coming down here, it's using Federation credits, science badges, and a typical shard count for an uncommon. What's beautiful about this is that it is an uncommon. We have been told that it's going to be sourced very readily this month. There's going to be Badgie shards all over the place. So getting this guy to multiple tiers is very, very possible very early and should not be overly difficult for some players to start getting some benefit out of these lower deck abilities. Keep in mind, if you've got this on a lower deck, this is going to increase your piercing straight out the gate. Even if you've got good piercing already on the bridge, I might suggest that this guy may not necessarily be the most useful on the bridge because he's going to contribute the same type of statistic down here on the lower deck. All right, super excited about that. Let's come back and take a look at our next officer. It would indeed be Brad Boimler. Let's go ahead and pull this cat up right here. And we'll take a look. And again, the animation here just really wonderful, capturing the essence of these officers, the animation team, and those who, I guess, worked with Paramount or with CBS, doing a really, really good job. Watch this animation. Yeah, that's so Boimler, right? That is absolutely him coming back in here to STFC.Space. Shout out. All right, we got Brad Boimler. Same thing. He's the rare officer, okay? And again, the description very much written like the narrative of Lower Decks. It's talking about how him and his friend and mentor, Beckett Mariner, are there to provide chaos, whatever it is, how he has always tried to be the Starfleet suck-up, but in effect has actually been known to create the Boimler effect, which to his dismay, is exactly the opposite of what he tries to portray, encouraging shortcuts and discouraging blindly following the rules. He will become come to be known as the laziest, most corner-cutting officer in Starfleet history, which is also kind of funny. Again, Captain Maneuver doesn't have one. If you put these officers in the captain slot, it will literally do nothing with zero synergy, okay? So that's not where they belong. If you did happen to put him on the bridge, he is increasing your piercing. And again, not necessarily a bad ability here, especially as you tier it up. But again, the bigger effect, I believe, coming when you stack him on the lower deck with another officer set on the bridge, increasing your armor, shield deflection, and dodge by 45%. Folks, this is mitigation boost, and it's not small. All right, you take a look at his tier 1, and again, as these tier up, just like the officer ability, they're going to get better, meaning that when this guy gets maxed out, he's giving you a 125% boost to your mitigation, which is going to be wildly beneficial. Again, when we talk about the different crew combinations, I might point out, especially for VIP players looking at those 52-plus hostiles where you don't have Pike Moreau Chen, I have a feeling that things like this are going to be wildly beneficial to your gameplay when you're looking at those hostiles. Same kind of thing over here. Fed credits, command badges, because he is an aspiring captain, and a shard count, very typical of that of a rare, okay? And this month, we'll talk to you about your epic officer. It is indeed Ensign Beckett Mariner, okay? She is an ensign. Yes, she is an ensign. Here you go. And again, the animation just absolutely spot on and beautiful. When you tier her up, she she has a good animation as well. All three of them have great animations this month. These are your three officers. Let's tee her up and take a look. There it is. Daggone it. She's worried. She doesn't want to be promoted. It's a bad thing. I don't want a promotion. I want to stay down here on the lower decks, okay? That is where she lives her best life. Let's come on over here and see if we can find Beckett Mariner. And again, not providing any synergy, has no captain's ability. She is unfit to lead. All right, but these descriptions, absolutely wonderful, okay? Just good reading, and it makes me super excited for the narrative this month, all right? But it does talk about how she has a history of not following orders and this and that. I point your attention to this paragraph right here. She has spent time on 5 different Starfleet vessels, including a stint on Deep Space Nine. Yet another nod. We've seen this in the past, folks. Another nod to what could be an upcoming IP. And we've seen it, especially going back with TOS and or Discovery and so forth. When we see in Outlaw, we saw the hint towards Discovery. Lots of stuff here that kind of point to what could be coming up a little bit later on this year. And then, of course, some of her other feats. Coming down here, officer ability, increasing the attack of all officers on the ship. Again, not super great. I don't foresee using her on the bridge, but her below deck ability, again, increasing damage by 40% and scaling up. And again, if you're on the lower deck, it's just an added ability. We've never had abilities on the lower deck, so putting her down there, absolutely not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. You're not substituting any other ability. If you put all 3 of these lower decks officers below deck on your PvP ship or your main grinder or whatever, you're maybe sacrificing some stats, absolutely true, but getting the extra abilities is a pure net bonus. So these are definitely, as silly as they are, and as silly as it is that they have no captain's maneuver, these officers are going to be net positive for you on your lower decks. Now, if it was a PvP ability and you're looking on the bridge at a stat officer like Ash Tyler or Marcus or Charvanik, maybe you want to take a look and realize that these maybe not the best position there. But in a hostile grinding crew, such as a Pike Moreau Chen, or if you're trying to take out those 52 plus hostiles, these things are just net bonus if you've got them on the lower deck. Again, command badges, more command badges, Federation credits, but she is an epic officer. So let's talk a little bit about the sourcing this month. How are we going to see these? All right. Well, Badgie, like I said, going to be handed out liberally. It's going to be all over the place. Boimler is going to show up in some certain packs available for purchase, but is also going to have some pretty decent sourcing in the Elite Battle Pass track. We are not guaranteed an unlock just by having the pack, but between the Elite Battle Pass, between the Elite Battle Pass pack, if you're going to buy the $99 pack, and between a lot of engagement, the events and so forth, you should be pretty daggone set up well for Boimler. Now, we take a look at Epic Mariner. Whew, okay, so this one is going to be different than our typical officer meta, okay? There are going to be 3 solo leaderboards this month. 3 for her. One presumably every single weekend. At this time, we don't know if all of them are going to be materials or directives, or if they might dabble something else in. They could dabble in some trade XP. They could dabble in away teams assignments completion. They could dabble in ultra recruit spend. We don't know, but 3 material spend SLBs would be a little bit heavy, right? So you will need to take a look at the calendar and see what they ultimately decided to do with these SLBs. But with no officer meta this month really to speak of, there is going to be a path that players are going to need to examine for themselves. For example, these shards will be gifted very liberally this month. I might say that they're going to show up in a lot of ticketed events, all right? And we are using our model from last month and our model from January and November, where we are going to get 27 total ticketed events. That is what we are expecting. And we know that 1 Mariner shard will be available in each of those. So if ticketed events have never really kind of been your thing, or if you've been holding out for resources and materials, well, we do expect that ticketed events are giving resources and materials this month, plus every single one handing out 1 Mariner shard. Well, if you do them all, there's 27. All right, we've got other SMSs and other events this month, and I will tell you, the event calendar is loaded. We'll talk to you more about that coming up a little bit later. But at this time, at the time of taping, our math indicates that if you score only 5 shards from each of the SLBs, all right, that is 15 shards, then you should be able to unlock this epic officer with 100% engagement in the SMSs, along with the purchase of a $99 Battle Pass unlock. All right. Now, if you do just the $20 Battle Pass unlock, there are still going to be shards in there, but you may be short the 30, maybe making it now 45 shards that you're going to have to source somewhere in these SLBs. If you avoid the Battle Pass, the Elite Battle Pass altogether, it's probably going to become more difficult for you to unlock Mariner. But again, depending on how many shards are in the Elite track and how many you feel that you could make up in the SLBs, it is still very, very possible that a complete free-to-play walks with Beckett Mariner this month. However, the Elite track of the Battle Pass and the $99 Battle Pass pack are going to make it much, much easier, leaving you only 15 shards short. And if you are able to pick up 5 shards even in each of the 3 SLBs, then you will be able to walk this month with Mariner. Now, you guys have seen the hints. You've seen the screenshots floating around. Let's take a look at this month's new feature. It is, in fact, the USS Cerritos, all right? This is the Cerritos. It's the new one this month. Here's a better image, and look at that. It is actually very animated, very beautiful. It was almost curious how they were going to incorporate an animated ship into our game, which obviously is mostly animated, but the ships do have a different hue to it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can find out what this thing is going to take a look, what this thing is going to look like within our game. We'll take a look at this ship right here in the game environment. All right, so here it is in your ship management screen. You can see it's a G4 epic ship. Ooh, that scares me on build cost. We'll talk about it in a moment. We'll take a look at the ship ability here in just a second as well, so that's interesting. 100 blueprints are necessary for this ship. We are going to give you a sourcing path here in just a moment. And what I would have wanted more than anything, and Ripper knows and Snake Eyes had a great idea, what would have been super great is to have this ship actually crash into the side of our dock as it's leaving, because, you know, that's how awkward and goofy that they are. But in fact, it does make a clean exit into space, and this is, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, the USS Cerritos making its way into your game. All right, what is this ship going to do? Well, let's pop on over into STFC.space, and we're going to take a look at these ship abilities and introduce your feature for this month. It is, in fact, going right along the lines of what Criminal Ripper gave you in a hint. This is support. All right, let's come on over here into STFC.space. We're going to pull up the Cerritos, a G4 epic ship, and we come down here. First thing I'm going to do is point you again to the description. This is so good. This one I might have to read to you. Throughout the history of Starfleet, there have been a handful of ships staffed with heroes and legends that have changed the course of history. Vessels that forsook life and limb, that braved unimaginable danger to safeguard the Federation and its people. The Cerritos is not one of those ships. A California-class vessel, the Cerritos was designed to serve as a support vessel for more durable ships in the fleet. For this reason and many more, the Cerritos has found itself a nice little rut as a second contact vessel. Recent events have made it abundantly clear that the crew of the Cerritos has more heart than many have given them credit for. Some would even say that this underestimated ship could be considered one of the finest vessels in Starfleet history. They would most likely be wrong. Love the narrative that you guys are using this month, Scopely. This is fun. This is lighthearted. This is comical. This is Lower Decks, and I'm so excited. Let's come on down. We're going to talk about this ship ability in just a moment, but what does this ship do? Well, folks, this is the feature this month, all right? This ship is lending support to another ship, all right? This is a utility-based ship somewhat similar to the Discovery in that this ship will actually perform a function for other ships, all right? The support function, you could think of it like cloaking. There's going to be a cooldown. There's going to be a currency provided for it. Let's take a look here at your support. There's a cooldown. It's 2 minutes. You've got a duration, which is roughly 3 minutes, all right? And you've got a cost, very much like that of jumping or summoning, all right? This currency is new. It is called Urvanite. All right, yes, it's called Urvanite. It's a purple-looking thingy. We're going to tell you a little bit about this loop coming up here in a minute, and of course, this ship is going to use something called Cerritos parts, all right? That's how you're going to promote this thing. But this Urvanite is what you're using to enable the support for the ships in which you choose to support. How is this going to work, and what is it going to do? Well, we'll tell you about that in a moment. What I can tell you at this second is as you promote this ship, then your cost, let's go here to like tier 3, tier 4, it is embedded in your warp drive component, very much like that of Discovery, okay? It is going to increase not only your range and warp drive, but this is what is driving down the cost of supporting a ship. DJ, what are you... Stop. Back up for a second. What is support? Well, we're going to... Hang on. It is literally giving abilities to another ship. All right. And so we see the warp drive component driving down the cost of support, but duration and cooldown staying the same. Well, that's kind of weird, right? Not necessarily. The support cooldown is staying the same, as is the duration, but we saw the ship ability just a little bit ago. Cooldown always being 2 minutes, duration seemingly always being just shy of 3 minutes, except the ship ability is going to allow us to level up and add duration by 5 seconds. So even at level 5, we're getting another 25 seconds added on top of this 175, giving it 200 seconds of duration. All right, and as we continue to level this thing up, then we see that this is going all the way up to 305 seconds when it's maxed at tier 12, because it is a G4, all right? So it's going to go all the way up to tier 12, and that would be adding 305 seconds to the 175 seconds you got down here, which ends up being somewhere in the, like, right around the 8-minute mark, okay? So this duration is giving that much extra potency to whatever ship you support. So what is support? Support is you being in a system. Here's how it's going to work. You must be in the same system as the ship you're going to support. What can you support? You can support any player ship. Any player ship. It could be yours. It could be your alliance mates. Or it could be a blue ship. There are a lot of reasons, and none of which we're going to get into right here today, but there are a lot of reasons why you may or may not want to support a blue ship. Maybe you're trying to help them out. Maybe they're trying to accomplish an ability for you. Maybe you're at war with somebody and you can't take out a target, but you can lend some support to somebody who can. And there's all kinds of different mechanics that are going to come into play here with support. All that's required is for you to be in the same system as that ship. And when you get down into the game, here, let me see. Oh, my game's not even open right now. I don't have a video to show you what support, but you know, like when you're in the game and you see the little cloaking button, like if you've got a cloakable ship, or you've got the discovery and you've got the button there that allows you to summon a ship. Well, there's going to be a button there just the same way for the Cerritos, all right? When you're in the system, you can click on that button, and then you can click on a player ship. It won't do armadas. It's not going to do bases. It's not going to do red hostiles or yellow hostiles. It will just be blues and purples, but you can click on that ship and then choose to boost it. Well, what is going to be boosted about it? Well, that's going to be different for everybody. Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, a new feature or a new piece this month. We'll get here. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Aha. Here it is. New research nodes. Now, first thing I want to show you very quickly. Actually, let me pause this super quick, all right? We're actually getting a new research tree this month. Now, the research tree is some new and some old. What they've done is they've created a new research tree called Starships. What they've done is moved all of the ship-specific researches into here, all right? So you see, here's some Discovery stuff, right? Here's some of the Divorce stuff. You got some Swarm stuff for the Franklin, all right? Here's your Vidar stuff, Prime Vidar, all right? So they have tried to make this a little bit simpler and consolidated this down. Any ship-specific stuff, all right? Now, this is not broad, you know, for like all Explorers or all Interceptors or all Federation ships. This is only for specific ships, or we might call them our specialty ships, right? They have moved all of those researches out of their various other trees and moved them into this new tab called Starships, where they can free up some space in the other ones and make it a little bit more concise for us to find here. But you will have new research in these, starting right here with amplified weaponry. So what these researches are going to take are the Urbanite particles that we were telling you about a little bit ago. Okay, you're going to be earning this Urbanite as you go along, as you participate in the loop, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about this. Here, we're going to show you some of these bonuses, courtesy of STFC.Space. Shout out the RIP. All right, targeting projections, increasing piercings, penetration stats when supported. This is the key, folks. This research is your research. So when you're supported, you're going to receive the benefits of this research. This is what's interesting. This research tree depends on the support, all right? Now, you may notice that, at least as of this point, we're not seeing any major cost other than the Irvinite. We are showing some of these different bonus levels here, okay? Oh, this one's a big one. Look here. Hold on, let me pause this one. This is a big one. Increases shield health by a percentage of defense every single round of combat while supported by Cerritos, starting at 100%. Folks, this is a new spot or a new Beverly in the captain's chair, except now it's an ability that doesn't require any officer slot, okay? It just requires support from a Cerritos, whether it be yours, an alliance mate's, or even potentially an enemy or maybe an ally, okay? And it maxes out at 300%, you can see here, okay? So this is a really good-looking research right here, especially if people are having trouble with some of their shield replenishment. Now, you will see on a lot of these, this research tree opens up at Ops 36, all right? Which, as it happens to be, is where the Cerritos is actually able to be built. Shipyard 36, all right? We'll talk about some of the upgrade costs here in just a couple of moments, but I want to continue through here. There we go. All right, let's continue on through some of these other researches and show you these support tactics, increasing damage against hostiles. Again, these research amounts, not too awful bad. I kind of liken this a little bit to perhaps a mechanic similar to exocomps, in which that it's temporary, so the buffs actually look not bad. Now, some of them are widely researched and maybe don't end up being huge, like this one, increasing damage. Not a whole lot there, all right? Or reducing damage by from player ships while supported by Cerritos. Some of these are actually going to probably not have a huge effect, but every little bit helps. And given that these are actual new sources of research and new abilities, then not a big deal. Now, I do want to point out this set of research right here. These three, cybernetic enhancements, lower deck spirit, and photon acceleration. There are 3 of these new researches considered to be what's called ultimate research, or research that is only available once the Cerritos hits tier 12. Yep, you heard me. Once the ship is maxed, it's going to give you this super epic, super ultra refined, very super special, rare, or ultimate Irvinite, okay? It's only available once the ship hits tier 12, and it will be charged as research for these 3 nodes. Now, just want to point this out at the time of taping, there was an error. Don't get too bent out of shape about this, VIPs. This was indeed proven to be an error. This was the image that we had, all right? Increasing critical hit damage while supported. You're thinking, well, 2.5%, that's super lame. I don't even want to try. That is not what this research ended up being. You'll see the new final version when it comes into the game. I do believe, if I think I've got this here. Yes, here it is. Critical hit damage bonus. They actually changed this one to be 100%. So this is actually a decent one. This is critical hit damage bonus of 100%. This was something we were able to catch early. See, there's a benefit, guys, for some of us seeing this stuff early. So this one got caught. This one has been changed to 100%, okay? Which is good because 2.5% would have been nothing. It's very, very super teeny tiny. Let's take a look at this next one. Excuse me. It's very late at night. Let's go to the next one. See, this is when we saw this one. We were very concerned, so we spent an extra minute or two really kind of discussing this one and talking about it. The next one, here we go. Holographic imaging, lower deck spirit, increasing shield mitigation while supported. Again, one of the ultimate researches. Shield mitigation. Now, folks, this one, don't get confused on this one. Shield mitigation is your shield hull split. So this one is actually okay at 2.5%. This is taking your 80-20 split and actually splitting it down to 77.5 and 22.5, which is kind of a cool thing. And this, by the way, I might add, is PvP, PvE, Armada, whatever. Just increasing your shield mitigation while you're supported. And then lastly, we've got your photon acceleration down here, I believe is the next one we're going to look at. Here we go. Increasing damage against player ships by 150%. This is better than a prime. Now, granted, it's going to be somewhat pricey and a very, very long road to get this ship to tier 12. Let's take a look at its upgrade cost, and then we are going to share with you the acquisition path. I told you that I had good news for you, and indeed I do. Let's start out with just building the ship as we indicated. Shipyard 36. All right, and not crazy expensive, a couple million titanium. Of course, these are build costs, so you're going to have these raw costs built in here. But as we come up, let's turn on the range and let's come up at what we're going to be spending here. Just 3-star parts, 3-star common, nothing major. Cerritos parts, that's going to be your bottleneck. We'll explain that. Go into tier 3, we start to dabble into some 3-star uncommon, but not wildly expensive. Tier 4, same thing, 3-star uncommon and rare, but in small quantities, especially if you've got good research. Now, this thing does not have a hard ops lock, all right? But once you start going to tier 5, you will start needing some of the G4 common stuff. So a lot of players are going to start probably holding themselves up here. You can build the ship at 36, but until you get to 39, it's actually really difficult to get your hands on G4 common material. So this is likely going to be not an actual ops lock, but kind of a soft ops lock. Getting it to tier 5 is going to start to require some G4 material. But even as you start to scale this thing up, tier 6, all right, still common, a little bit of uncommon, well, a little bit, that's not a very small number, but obviously, again, research going to be dropping this down. Tier 7, same thing, now you're dabbling into 4-star uncommon ore, as well as some of the gas, and so forth, uncommon explorer parts. But again, not a ton. 4-star parts have been a huge piece of contention in the G4 economy. These are taking them, but not in super duper quantities. Again, I believe your biggest holdup here is going to be with the Cerritos parts. One other thing that Rev Deuce found, which I think is super, super relevant to point out, are your stats of this ship. Folks, there is a ship that this is kind of somewhat modeled after, and it is, in fact, a Burrell, the G3 level 32. This ship, now granted, that Burrell is not super powerful until about tier 4, tier 5, but folks, this ship is very much modeled after that, giving this ship yet another kind of mechanic for, level 36 players who maybe skipped their G4 rares. Now you have an opportunity to come in and pick one up that is going to serve a dual purpose. You've got this one who could serve as, a G4 or a G3 rare explorer and give you a little bit of benefit there. But as you continue to level this thing up, there are going to be other benefits to this thing as a mild PvP ship. Moreover, we've got great warp range yet again. All right. Now, not as wide, not as super huge as you would expect from some of the other ships. So G4, G5 players might be saying, well, listen, how's this thing going to work for me? Again, once you get to a certain tier, and I don't remember if we have a screenshot in here or not, there is one. If we find it, I don't think we found it here. Let me show you over here in STFC.space. There is, in fact, a research that is added into the new Starships tree, and you'll notice that is even built in here on STFC.space. Let's go here to the unlock level, and we'll do that by reverse. Tactical Retreat, Ops 50. Take a look at this one, guys. It does require Ops 50. It does cost these particles, the Culver particles, which are your research currency, all right? But this one is increasing the warp range of the Cerritos, giving you the ability to use this ship in G5 by giving you a little bit extra of a warp bonus in addition to all the other researches that you've got, okay? So they are, once you get this thing maxed out, or once you are a G5 player, then they're going to give you a little bit of extra research to help you move this thing along. Take a look at those warp level bonuses, okay? Woo, that's a big one. Goes all the way up to 10 with a bonus of 315, literally making this ship extremely viable in dark space, in deep G4 space, or even in G5 space. Now, let's come back to the sourcing plan. I told you I was happy with this, so here's what you've got, and they have cleared us to share this with you, which is abnormal, so I want to praise them for doing so. This month, as I hinted at in a previous show, the Cerritos will be a pay-to-acquire ship. Don't get upset. Don't get upset, because one of the things that I have always fussed about is a clear and transparent path upon launch. Well, folks, here it is. Tune in for this part. Clip this piece. Here you go, okay? This is the piece right here, okay? While you're looking at this ship and you're thinking, oh, I gotta have it. Well, you'll have an opportunity right up front at the beginning of the arc to buy the 100% BPs needed for this ship for $99. On the other hand, you could just do the Elite Battle Pass if you're a $20 player. Well, if you do the Elite Battle Pass, you will receive half of these blueprints at the conclusion of this month's Battle Pass. Well, DJ, that's still half. It doesn't get me the ship. Well, that's correct. There is a $50 pack that will source half the blueprints. So you could spend $100 to have it right here on day 1, or you could spend $70 to get it on day 20. Okay, that doesn't sound free to play, DJs. You're right, it's not. My apologies. Starting next month, folks, there will be a new event launch every single Wednesday. As a matter of fact, starting this month, we are now dubbing Wednesdays as Lower Deck Wednesdays. We've got Latin Mining Monday, we've got Swarm Sunday, and now every single month for the rest, every single Wednesday for the rest of forever, you've got Lower Decks Wednesday. Well, where events will launch surrounding the Lower Deck officers and the Cerritos and the loop, and I'll explain the loop to you in just a second. But you've got all that stuff coming every single Wednesday. Well, not during this arc will this extra event pop in, but starting in May, an extra event will pop in called California Class. What that event will do is source free-to-play blueprints every single Wednesday. 10 of them, in fact, meaning that starting in Wednesday, I believe the second week of May, starting on that Wednesday, you are going to start being able to earn 10 blueprints to this ship for free every single week. Meaning that if you didn't even do the Elite Battle Pass, if you did just the free Battle Pass only and you pay $0 in this game, then starting in May, the second week of May, you will have 10 runs of this event. And it will get you all 100 blueprints, meaning that you can have this ship completely free to play in July. All right, which is a very short path, and I praise Scopely on their introduction of a grinder's path immediately. Now, you won't start earning these blueprints for free in the month of April. Still needs to be a little bit of incentive to buy the ship, but if you are an adamant non-spender, you will see the capability of getting these blueprints beginning next month, which is super exciting. Now, if you did decide to do the Elite Battle Pass only and you don't buy the $50 pack for the other half, well, then you're going to finish this month with half the blueprints. Guess what? Starting in May, you will also get this California Class event, and you only have to run it 5 times there, which is only 5 weeks until you would have your mostly free to play. You get the $20 battle pass into it, but you would only need 5 more runs to finish off the Cerritos, all right? And that's super important. Now, for those, once you unlock the Cerritos, all right, there is a loop, and we will tell you about it. Once you unlock the Cerritos, on Wednesdays, you're going to have your Lower Deck Wednesday event, and it's going to provide you with a series of events to do to earn this stuff right here. You're going to earn these little tokens. I don't know what they're going to be called, but you're going to see this new refinery, all right? And very much like I drew the correlation to Discovery earlier, you're going to have this built into the Discovery refinery. Note that they have changed it from Discovery now to support, because that's really what the Discovery is. It's a support vessel, and so is the Cerritos. So they've added them in here, okay? You're going to have this Cerritos Irvinite supply, very much like cloaking or mycelium. There will be a capacity, but notice it's not that bad, 30,000. And if we come back over to STFC.space, we'll remember that it doesn't use that much. All right, even at tier 1, it's using, I believe, 3,000. Is that what it was? Where did we go? Support. Here we go. Even at tier 1, it's 3,000. So you're going to be able to hold up to 10 different supports, and this is available on a cooldown. It's not going to give you 30,000 a day. It's a smaller amount than that, and we'll find out what that is a little bit later together, but it is on a 22-hour cooldown, just like your Tetrions and so forth, and there is going to be a capacity max there for you to use the support. But once you start earning some of these tokens, you're going to come in here, notwithstanding the Disco Refinery, you'll start now pulling from the Cerritos Refinery. What's going to be inside it? This is exciting, Scopely. Again, not a bad job. Pretty good job. All right. Inside here is very much like the Disco Refinery in that it's going to give you ship parts. It's going to give you some of the research particles. It's going to give you officer shards. All right. Here are all 3 of our officers. And take a look at these odds. Okay. Or not the odds, but the contents, the chances. All right. You could get 1 shard. You could get 2, maybe 5, 12, 22, or even a full pull. That's crazy. This is a free-to-play chest, and you're going to be able to pull these every single day. If you do your Wednesday event, If you do your Wednesday, Lower Decks Wednesday, you'll, just like the anomalous phenomena, you're going to get enough currency to be able to come in here and pull these every single day. You have chances at these shards every day, chances at parts every day, and the research particles. This Culver particle is what you're going to be spending in that new supported tree. Again, I mentioned this a little bit ago. The support works in this way. That research is your own. When you are in the state of supported by the Cerritos, that research kicks in for you. So it's not going to be the research that I have when I support you. It's the research that you have. If you don't do any of that research and somebody supports you, you get no benefit. Okay? So it is based on the research that you have completed. All that somebody is doing for you is turning it on. Whatever level of research you get is up to you. All right, that's how it's going to work. So starting here in April, we are going to get the Lower Decks Wednesday event for those who do, in fact, have the ship, and it's going to scale. There's going to be certain events for tiers 1 through 4. There's going to be certain events starting at tier 5, starting in the second week, and then in May, you add the California class event for those, and then also, hey, starting in week 2 of this month, not that it would be super quick, but if you can get this ship to tier 5, if you're going to spend some money to do it, because I'm sure you'll be able to. If you can get this ship to tier 5 and you're 40 plus, there's going to be an entirely different version of the Lower Decks Wednesday for you that is going to contain some different stuff for you there. All right. So super duper interesting loop. I'm excited about the goofiness of it all. I'm excited about the fun of Lower Decks, and this is happening. What else is happening this month? Because this video is going super long. Oh my God, too long. All right. What else do we got? Exportable battle logs. I said nerds unite. Nerds get excited. Exportable battle logs are coming this month. And guys, this is not just a simple little what you see in the battle log. There is so much data. I don't have a sample one to show you, which I hate that I don't have one, but we're talking hull remaining. We're talking total damage. We're talking just about anything you can imagine, all right, in an exportable battle log. Tons and tons and tons of fields compatible with CSV or exported in a CSV format, so you'll be able to import it to Excel and do all kinds of nerdy math. I'm super jacked about it. Exportable battle logs. Ticketed events we already talked about. 9 days of those, 27 total events in which they will be sourcing Beck and Mariner shards, so maybe in a good month for you to take a look at ticketed events. Just as if I was going to give you a sour note, Turf Wars will be back this month, so get prepped for that. Although, don't panic. I am pleased. Listen, I know that it's an event we mostly hate. I know that. They're not willing to give up on it just yet. So I will tell you that we are seeing new changes this month. I appreciate that Scopely is willing to continue to reiterate this event. If they're not willing to scrap it completely, then they're at least willing to continue trying to find a happy medium for us, all right? Turf Wars will be back. It's going to be a little bit different, so we'll see how that plays out. And just as a quick hint, there will be away teams assignments events this month, more than one, so start your prep with the Trade XP and the banking and the epics and all that stuff, because there's going to be a couple of those too. Okay, all right, that's it. That's all I got. We're out of time. Oh my God, Snake Eyes is yelling. Guys, this is it. This is Lower Decks. We're super excited. This is April. My name is UltimatDjz. I'm your friendly neighborhood cat person. You're furry and lovable, cute and lovable kitty cat saying meow. Love you, mean it. Meow for now. Enjoy the arc. Hey, subscribe. Click on the bell. Are you excited? Click on the bell. Leave your comments below. This could be a really fun arc. Scopely, let's not mess it up. Subscribe while you're here. We're on our push to 10,000 subs. Okay, gotta go. Love you, mean it. Bye. Meow. See ya. Woo. Oh my God, I almost forgot the avatars and frames. Look at this. This is exciting. Look at these. I might be the most excited about avatars and frames that I've ever been in my entire life. Like super, like, I mean, look at these. Badgie. Oh God, I'm so excited. These are good. Hey, this was the plate hint. You got a lot on our plate. It's the Tom Paris plate. Look, it's Miles O'Brien, the greatest Starfleet officer who ever lived. It's the Ransom Head. And it's Lieutenant Matt, the whale. See, this was the one. This is the one. Baba, this is the one I said that they should have sold for $500 for April Fools. It'd have been really funny. How many whales would have bought the whale avatar for $500? Just saying. Lots of fun. Okay, now gotta go. Bye, love you. See ya. Meow.